Dear teachers, welcome to JS in English Learning. We are beginning Elaine Showalter's towards a feminist poetics. This is the first time after the announcement of the revised PGTRB syllabus. Now, literary criticism has been pushed to Unit 8. It is titled the literary criticism and it is placed in the position 8th position. And the text that is included is towards feminist poetics. Why this text? This is a defining text for feminism, a path-breaking text. The text is written by a scholar by name Elaine Showalter, and Elaine Showalter first presented it as a lecture. Okay, on the first series on literature and women. Where did she deliver this lecture? The lecture was delivered in the year 1978. Okay, in at the University of Oxford, and it was published in 1979. So the main focus of this essay to speak about the contribution of women to the field of literary criticism. Before a certain age, women were not at all given chance to read or write. Their space was confined to the four walls. நான்கு வால்களுக்குள்ளரே அடைபட்டு போனார்கள். அவருடைய ஒர்க் என்ன அப்படின்னா டு பி சபார்டினேட் டு மென். ஆண்களுக்கு அடிமைகளாக ஒரு நான்கு சுவர்களுக்குள்ளே டொமஸ்டிக் ஒர்க்ஸ் மட்டும் செய்து கொண்டு இருக்க வேண்டும் என்று இருந்தது. அப்புறம் கொஞ்சம் எலைட் விமென் they got little chance to study and they also became writers, but then came the next phase. Enna they started writing, but they did not have an identity by themselves. They wrote literature as women, as men would do. ஆண்கள் எவ்வாறு இலக்கியம் எழுதுவார்களோ அவங்க எந்த ரூல்ஸ் பேஸ் பண்ணி எழுதுனாங்களோ அதே ரூல்ஸ் பேஸ் பண்ணி இவங்க எழுதுனாங்க. ஆண்கள் அவங்களுடைய இலக்கியத்துல பெண்களை எவ்வளவு மோசமாக சித்தரித்தார்களோ அதே மாதிரி இவங்களும் என்ன பண்ணாங்க, பெண்களை அதே மாதிரிதான் சித்தரிச்சாங்க. we call it a stereotypical presentation of women. Stereotypical presentation of women. And one typical thing is women, though they wrote, they did not have the courage to use their own name while publishing their works. Manuscripts were not signed with their original name, but rather they used male names. We call it a pseudonym. நீங்க பிராந்தே சிஸ்டர்ஸ் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த டெக்ஸ்ட்ல டுவர்ட்ஸ் ஃபெமினிஸ்ட் போய்டிக்ஸ்ல எலைன் ஷோவால்டர் ஸ்பீக்ஸ் அபவுட் வேவ்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபெமினிசம். 3 waves ஆஃப் ஃபெமினிசம் பத்தி பேசுவாங்க. அதுல ஒரு பர்டிகுலரா அவங்க she makes a reference to Bronte sisters. Okay, who are the Bronte sisters? What are their name?
Error, action.
Bronte sisters.
Charlotte Bronte,
Anne Bronte, and
Emily
Bronte. What was their pseudonyms?
Currer Bell, Action Bell.
Yeah, Currer Bell, Anton Bell, and Ellis Bell. All are male names. Their works did not differ much from the works written by men, and their portrayal of women did not differ much from the portrayal of women by men. However, men were presented only as soft beings, not as strong beings. Soft இருப்பாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு மெயின் ஒர்க் என்ன, டு ஃபைண்ட் a life partner, to settle down in a family, to maintain a family, அவ்வளவுதான் இருந்தது. ஆனா எலைன் ஷோவால்டர் இந்த எஸ்ஸேல என்ன சொல்ல போறாங்கன்னா, gone are the days. Now women have become readers. Now it is a time for women to become critics. They have to become critics. They have to define their own norms to judge their own works. Yeah, the whole of literary criticism background, all the rule providers were only men. Why should we follow the rules and the norms given for judging literary work of women by the works by the norms given by men? Why not women become critics of their own works? அப்படின்னு கேட்ட ஒரு ஒர்க் தான் இந்த ஒரு பர்டிகுலர் எஸ்ஸே. When was the work published? This essay was published in the year 1979. It was delivered as a lecture in 1978. Now we begin the essay. The essay, Elaine Showalter, when she begins the essay, she makes a reference to a particular symposium. Okay, a symposium which was conducted in London. Okay. Symposium na ஒன்னும் இல்ல, where people present their views and they argue over their views. And அதுல ரொம்ப முக்கியமானது என்ன அப்படின்னா, there is a reference to a writer. The name of the writer is Leon Edel. Leon Edel in 1977, what did he do? He attempted to write a book. The name of the book is Contemporary Approaches to English Studies, where he had compiled the essays of 6 male critics. இந்த புக்கை பத்தி ஒரு ரெஃபரன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஏன் இந்த புக்கை பத்தி ரெஃபரன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாங்க அப்படின்னா, this book contained the valuable contributions by 6 male critics. Who are the 6 male critics? அப்படின்னா, you have to come down. I have put it here. George Steiner. The second one is Raymond Williams. The third one is Christopher Butler. The fourth one is Jonathan Cullett. And then Terry Eggleton and Leon Edel. Okay, and Leon Edel happens to be a distinguished biographer of Henry James. Who is Henry James? We have heard of, we have read Henry James.
Brother of William James.
Brother of William James. Who was William James?
Psychologist.
He was a psychologist. Henry James was a very famous.
Stream of
Yeah, very good man. Henry James. William James was the one who coined the term stream of consciousness. And Henry James is a very famous novelist. A man who wrote Tom Jones, a Foundling. அவரு அந்த பர்டிகுலர் ப்ரொஃபசர் லியோன் எடல் என்ன பண்ணியிருக்காருன்னா, he has written a book where he celebrated 6 male critics. இப்ப என்ன பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா, she is making a reference to a beautiful conflicting situation. ஏன்னா ஒரு dramatic discussion is happening. அந்த புக்ல வந்து ப்ரொஃபசர் எடல் வந்து ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட்டை வந்து குறிப்பிடுறார். என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, he is speaking about a dramatic discussion between 3 literary scholars who are in a heated discussion on the steps of British Museum. இதான் அவர் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஈவெண்ட். It is mentioned by Professor Edel. அந்த 3 professors யாரு? Who are the 3 literary scholars who were in a heated discussion about art on the steps of British Museum? அப்படின்னா இவங்க அந்த ஒரு பேசேஜ்ல வந்து அப்படி ரெஃபரன்ஸா கொடுக்குறாங்க. The 3 scholars, who are they? Number 1, Criticus, a short, thick-bodied intellectual with spectacle, a male. Criticus is a scholar, a short man, thick-bodied intellectual. thickனா எப்படி இருக்கும்? thinnனா thin, thick. What is the difference? Thinna lean, thickனா கொஞ்சம் fleshy, plumpy. அப்ப there is a very funny intellectual being. அவர் பேரு Criticus. He was clinging to a pipe in his right hand. அப்படின்னா கையில ஒரு சிகரெட் பைப் வச்சிருந்தாரு, அந்த காலத்துல இருக்க பைப். The next scholar is Poeticus. Poeticus, who was very much interested in Eachian forelock. Okay, and without eyeglass and ribbon. ஒரு ஈட்சியன் அப்பியரன்ஸ் இருந்தது. அதே நேரத்துல அவருக்கு கண்ணாடி இல்ல, ஒரு ரிப்பன் இல்ல. And the third one, யாரு? Plutarchus. Who is the third scholar? The third scholar is a man by name Plutarchus. These 3 people. Plutarchus, how does he appear? As a lean biographer wearing a Kadari jacket. அப்படின்னா அது ஒரு customary jacket for scholars. ஸ்காலர்ஸ்க்குன்னு ஒரு காஸ்டியூம் இருக்கு, அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் போட்டுட்டு இருந்தாங்க. அந்த 3 பேரும் ரொம்ப ஆர்ட்டை பத்தி ரொம்ப சீரியஸா அந்த படிக்கட்டுல நின்று பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்கும்போது all of a sudden a taxi pulled in front of them. அவங்க எதிர்பார்க்காத நேரத்துல ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் நடக்க போகுது. என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, there was a taxi which pulled in and there was a lady. Obviously she was a red haired lady. அவங்களுடைய ஹேர் கலர் என்னவா இருந்தது?
Red color.
It was a red color haired lady. I'm putting it here. It is not getting highlighted. Let me try some means. It's a auburn haired young woman. Auburn haired அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, it's a red color hair. A very stylish looking woman, obviously an American, who was wearing earrings and carried an armful of folder. She was rushing into the British Art Museum. அவ ரொம்ப வேகமா உள்ள போகும்போது, look at the reaction of the men. அந்த men என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க? They are very much worried. Worried about what? What is woman doing here? This is not the space for women. அப்படின்னு அவங்க யோசிக்கிறாங்களாம். This is how Elaine Showalter begins the essay. There are men who are thinking, why does a woman come here? This is not the space of a woman. Femininity does not require brain work. பெண்களுக்கான ஒர்க் என்ன? டொமஸ்டிக் ஒர்க், knitting. Knitting தான் உங்களுடைய ஒர்க். Washing the vessels, cleaning the house, maintaining the house. What is femininity doing here in the art museum, which is a space for brain work? இங்க intellectual work தானே பெண்கள் செய்யணும். Why is a woman entering into British Art Museum? So, by citing this particular reference, Elaine Showalter is problematizing the condition of women in the world. என்ன ப்ராப்ளம் சொல்றாங்க? Women are not at all respected. According to the world, the space of women is the domestic space, not the intellectual space. They are supposed to be highly emotional being, not intellectual being. ஆனா இங்க உள்ள ஒரு அம்மா உள்ள நுழைகிறாங்க. அந்த அம்மா வந்து எதுக்காக உள்ள நுழைகிறாங்க? She wanted to use her brain. She wants to use her rationality. This is unacceptable to the male critics. And now, Elaine Showalter is going to name that particular lady. What is the name given to the lady? The name given is Critica. What is the name given to the new lady who entered into the British Art Museum?
Critica.
And what was the reaction of the people inside? Abhina, the people were not inviting this lady. They were not so friendly. But she voluntarily goes in to speak and present her views. This is the emergence of feminism. Okay, and Elaine Showalter goes ahead to say, let's imagine that this lady, Critica, is a feminist critic, maybe the first feminist critic. Okay, and she also wonders, if I could afford to take taxis to British Museum, I would think they had perhaps seen me. அப்படியே என்ன அர்த்தம்? I couldn't afford to go there because I did not have money. Money was not in the hands of women. Money was in the hands of men. Okay, if I had that courage like Kritika, I would have also been there. So we come to know that Elaine Showalter is a very strong feminist. Did you get that idea?
Yes, sir.
Now we go to the main argument. What is the main argument? She presents the current status of women in the 1970s. women, they started coming out of their house. They started proving their intellectual caliber around 1970s, but feminism was not welcomed. Was not welcomed because it was a patriarchal world, male-dominated world. அதனால, even in 1970s, feminism was isolated and it was least understood. Nobody bothered to understand what is feminism. பெண்ணியம் என்றால் என்ன அப்படின்னு யாருமே அதை பத்தி புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு முயற்சி எடுக்கவில்லை. இப்ப வரைக்கும் முயற்சி எடுக்கலையா? Even in 1970s. Did you get that, teachers?
Got it.
Okay. And then she also says that some of the members of the English department, okay, they also did not understand feminism. Did not understand feminism. அதற்கப்புறம் she tells how some of the male critics, how they were imposing only male views in the text, and they were trying to present the women as stereotypes. Okay, and now coming to some breakthrough, some of the breakthroughs which were made. என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, there is a reference to a writer. என்ன writer அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, there is a writer called Nina Auerbach, a subtle feminist analysis. She presented a subtle feminist analysis of Dombey and Son in the Dickens Studies Annal. Okay. The Dombey and Son is a work by Charles Dickens, which was considered to be a representative work of Charles Dickens of Elizabethan England. அதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா women characters இருந்தாங்க, but they were presented in a stereotypes, fixed types. இப்படிதான் இருப்பாங்க பெண்கள் அப்படின்னு டிஃபைன் பண்ணி வச்சிருந்த ஒரு டெக்ஸ்டை எடுத்து அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்க, from a new angle she interpreted the text. That is called a feminist analysis. Okay, did you get that, teachers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னா we will stop here and we will get back to the text tomorrow. சும்மா ஒரு இன்ட்ரோ கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சேன்.